Hello. We thank God for yet another opportunity like this. We even thank Him for His divine selection that has seen us throughout the week to today, and even making it possible for us to gather this evening to interact and study an aspect of His own institution, which is called marriage. It's just by His grace. And so I want to thank all of you, and I want to bless you for even making time, because I know you are all busy people, but then for you to make time to come and share this important topic in marriage shows how much you are all committed to your marriages and you really want your marriages to work. God bless you all. Hello. We thank God for yet another segment of time with Aunty Irene. I am Irene Osua Teido, a member of Ebenezer Cathedral, that's Medina, and then also a licensed counseling psychologist and a member of Ghana National Association of Certificated Counselors. I'm also a member of Ghana Psychology Association, that's GPA. And so with that at the back of your mind, then you know you are dealing with somebody who has been trained. So we thank God for yet another day. I'm so happy to be in your midst this evening. And for the purpose of those who are joining us for the first time, we want to welcome you to this edition. And we wish you all the best. We believe that by the grace of God, you'll be able to learn something that will go a long way to help you manage your marriage. Marriage is beautiful, like we said the other time. It is instituted by God, and God wants us to enjoy it to the uttermost. So all that we have to do is to study, to learn, and to do things right, so that we'll have an enviable and everlasting and healthy marriages. Thank you so much for your attention. And with that, I also want to say a big thank you to Sofo, who is with us this evening. We thank you for your presence. When we see you here, you motivate us, and we are able to do more. I also want to use this opportunity to that we all appreciate the executive of MYF. They are doing so much. They are doing a lot to help all of us, and for even putting this program, to being innovative enough to put a program like this and all other programs that they are engaging. We want to give them a hand of applause. So shall we all applaud the executives of this group? They are doing marvelously well. We say God bless them. So with that, can we now start the ball rolling? Can we have your questions? We believe that the Holy Spirit is here with us. He's going to give us all the answers that we need. I'm just a vessel He's going to use to bless you. Feel free to discuss whatever is bothering you, but I will entreat you that before you join us, make sure you have listened to the tape, so that it will inform you of what we are doing this evening, so that you will be able to ask the questions that you really need. But then if there's anything to bother you outside of whatever we are discussing, no problem. When there's time, we'll be able to address all those things. So without much time and without wasting much time, I want you to let me have your questions, and then we'll see how best the Holy Spirit will help us address them. Good evening, and me, my wife, and counseling is thank you. And make me and make me worry about that. I am making time of lifestyle and the communication rights group. But when I came to South Africa, there is a big problem for communication.
a headache to me. So I just have to sit down and do my homework. So I just sit down and do a lot of homework about it. How should I communicate with him? What he likes, what he doesn't like. But me to me, I think stress and not depression. The communication is very poor. Because when you can say, I'm going for. Mr. Miobia, I like talking a lot, but he is a quiet person. Unless I bring a common answer with me being you don't want to talk again and he'll be quiet. I'll be asking him, maybe I've wronged him or what I've said I've offended him. He said it's nothing, but I talked to him. I just taking it as a lesson and learning from him. I knew what he wants, what he doesn't want. So right now, the problem I'm facing now is we have to keep him. And if the kids are just playing with him and they are asking him a lot of questions, they will be shouting at the kids, hey, you are making noise and chat too much. Then I don't know what I'm going to do about it, because I know right now I thought it's a going to problems. That's why but the way he's leading to the kids is giving me a lot of problems. So
Hugh, my dear sister, and yet acquainted initially that's what you thought, but then that's not it. Hana on nature tape. Omo Mumpekasam, Sano, of course, we did the work, taking no Hana dream. Of course, I put too precious so beba because I had Oba Ghana, it's a relaxed time. I think not Obe, so definitely communication will be fine. So when you say so then that's how. But then said a waka say one casano, why your homework, what started say, one share no more penny, their own penny a day. So the best thing you can do with him is that on his good mood, days are in very good mood, you can talk to him, say, Annie, or Daddy, I appreciate everything you are doing for us, and I know, say, you are the quiet type. But say the children are growing and they need someone to talk. They have a lot of questions that they need answers for. And this all about now, they won't come to you. When they are adolescent, or when you know, they won't come. So this is the time. Also, to me, America, they are children. Don't maybe that person just exercise the patience. But quite fine, Nane no enkasa. And sometimes you say, your husband, I won't said the mood still. Almost say, why you stressed out another because I'm going to read him saying your man here is the mom. We know that things are noisy. So when you see that he's being stressed out, because you know your husband, so you know his mood. Sometimes he'll be very fine, sometimes he'll be. You know, say, why you stressed out, no, why you mood, you're not the then you try not to let the children get too close. So they will obey because there's some calamity to have a negative effect on them. Okay, so you try to engage the children when you see that he's not in the right frame of mood. But when you see that he's good, he's in the also definitely once in a while, then you can let the children go play with him small. But once say, with also children, it's time for you to go and do your work or something, so that he doesn't go to the street for the children to fall back. But he is a gradual, it's a personality, but then he can be worked on. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe we can talk later, because we cannot do all that. We cannot talk about all the things he has to do. You can do all the things he has to do to be able to come out of it, because we don't have much time this evening. So maybe we can talk later, and then we'll talk and we'll see how best it can be helped, so that you can also enjoy your marriage. Thank you. So, have you bothered to find out why he has stopped saying the sorry and the thank you? I think it's important for you to find out why he has stopped. Then you can take it up from there. Okay? Because it's the right thing to do. So you can also not say because he has stopped, you will stop. When you wrong him, you won't say sorry. So you go ahead and say, but then try and find out why. And then when you know why, you'll be able to act better. Thank you.
Aunty Irene, what I wanted to really understand is that a bit more honor just said your baby and Susano. Nyawaka Obeka see you what's it. Before the next one was at it. So even though we are looking at the verbal and the non-verbal aspect of it, you've tried both sides and it seems not to be working. The person is just indifferent. Or let me say unconcerned. What about that one? Thank you.
What I would say, thank you for making it clearer. But then what I would say about this is that if the person, you are not married yet to the person, then you have to advise yourself. I always say that something that you can't do to the end, you don't even start. For you to start and go and get stuck somewhere. So if the person is indifferent, you are doing all you can, but the person things seem not to work. Once you are not married, you just let the person go and then look elsewhere. Because one thing I always say that if there's something about somebody you want to marry and you cannot stand, you've done all you can, but the person is indifferent, like you said, and you can't stand, then let the person go. Because if you force yourself and go ahead and try to say that, oh, when I'm married he will change, he or she will never change. And so you are going to carry that cross till Jesus comes. And if you don't take care, you never find happiness in that marriage, because always it will be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when you realize that things are not working, and once you are not said I do, you just let it go. And then the Lord opens another door for you. Because that person might meet somebody who is also just like him or her, and then the two of them will click and they can go. Because due to our individual differences and our personality traits, there are some people you cannot stand no matter what. So if you can't stand, don't go ahead. Because if you go ahead, you get pressure. You may even die and leave the person to enjoy life. That's a little counselor can talk about that. Because if you are not married yet to the person, then don't worry yourself. You can just call it off and then look elsewhere.
Hey auntie, as my sister was saying, there are some people, when you tell them you are married or something, they will still push force on you. Hey, I'm asking, if you're in a relationship with someone and that person comes and informs the person I'm in a relationship, but still the person puts force on you, what will you do? And how should you do about that? Is it possible for you to let the person in a relationship know that what is wrong or what's going on, or you just have to let go? Because there are some people, you try your best, you do whatever that you want to do, but still they'll be calling, they'll be following you doing day out. What should I do about that one? Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Since it's a personal business, let's talk about it after the program, okay? After the program, I'll want to engage with you and then help you out, okay? Thank you so much. Oh, thank you for your question, my brother. It all boils down to communication, because when you marry, the love is supposed to grow. It's not supposed. Love is a seed, okay? And for every seed, when you grow, you plant a seed, you need to nurture it. You have to weed around it, you have to water it, do all kinds of things for it to grow and for it to bear fruit. So love in marriage is like a seed. So it doesn't come automatically. You need to work at it. So some of the things that you need to do are what we are learning, like communication. Because if you are married and you are not communicating, definitely your love will go cold. The love will go cold. It will even get to a point it will die. But then when you spice your marriage needs to be spiced. When you spice your marriage with communication and all the things that we've been learning about marriage, if you are doing all those things, then the love will never die. It will still be burning. So love is a seed, is a fruit, okay, a fruit of the spirit, and every fruit germinates from a seed, okay, and it grows from there. So it's not a gift that is automatic, it just comes, but you need to work at it. So if you take what you are doing serious, I believe your love for your spouse will begin to grow once again. Thank you. Hello, my dears. What do you think? I mean, love, the Bible says that, and the two of them were one, and the two shall be one. Okay, the two shall be one flesh, and they were ashamed. They were naked and they were not ashamed of themselves. So one flesh, oneness means oneness in everything. Okay, oneness. So there should be oneness means there should be openness between the two of you. There should be transparency. There shouldn't be anything hidden. Okay, so that because if I don't know your movement, then you give me the cause to be suspicious about you, and that will generate a whole lot of issues in the marriage. So you are one flesh. So what are you hiding from the other? Even you've been able to share your nakedness with your spouse. So what else will you hide from that person? So it's important that you make your movements and everything open to your spouse. Thank you. Hello, my dear. It's all about communication, okay? You know, there are some people in life who wouldn't move unless they are being told to. Even among us, as we were growing, there are some of our siblings that they will always take initiative to do things. There are some too who will never take initiative, but when you tell them to do it or you assign them the role, they will do it and do it perfectly. So it's about communication. You have a husband or a wife who you think is not being responsible enough. It borders on communication. You just have to talk to the person, find out why he's not doing what he's supposed to do. The reasons why he's neglecting some of the responsibilities that he has to take. And then when he gives you the reason, you find a way of, talking him. We always have to appeal to each other's senses. Once you appeal to the person's senses, the person will see eye to eye with you and then sit up and do what you're supposed to do. But when you go in with insults and those things, then the person will not even mind you. So please, it's all about communication, okay? Thanks. My dear, no marriage can survive without communication. Because how are you going to do that? Are you going to live in a place with someone? We are social beings, right? And we take solace from one another. So if I'm living with you and I'm not talking, because communication is not just about talking, but even we've learned about the non-verbal communication where our body even speaks, okay? So it will be difficult for you to live with somebody and say you are not communicating. No marriage, no one. That's why from the tape I said marriage is the cornerstone, and communication is the cornerstone of every marriage, and it's the brain behind every marriage. So you can never have any successful marriage without communication. Thank you. Hello, my dear. You know, in communication we have coding and decoding or encoding, because for non-verbal communication, it's the two of you who have to, because there are certain times that you'll be, even when we're growing up, you'll be communicating with your friends, among your friends, but the others will not hear. It's all about the signs and whatever. So it is the two of you that have to design your own symbols, so that the things that you, for instance, if you are in a relationship where maybe let's say your husband or your wife has a special taste for a particular perfume or something, or fragrance, and then you know that this is my husband's or my wife's favorite fragrance, and then you want to have make love with your spouse or something. The moment you wear, you take a shower and wear that perfume on your body, you are communicating something to your spouse that today, hey, tonight or this evening or whatever, this moment, I want to make love to you. So the person will also understand, and then he will decode the message, and then you will understand. So it is something that the two of you have to develop among you. It's code, symbols. You use your own symbols, your own and then people. Anything that communication is anything that the two of you are comfortable with. You can do it. So you have to come out with your own symbols and designs and non-verbal communication to be able to. But when you bring it out of the blue, it will not make sense to the person. So you have to work at it. Thank you. Oh, you are not married to the person, so of course you are not accountable. You are just, studying each other to see if you can marry. So you are not accountable to the person to disclose every move of yours. The most important thing is if the person will be coming to look for you, you have to let the person know that this time I will not be around or something. So that one, you don't need to declare everything about you to the person. Thank you. If your person is quick-tempered, you know the person best, and you know the things the person likes and the things the person dislikes. So in communication, you try to avoid the things that will infuriate or will generate anger in the person. You try to always communicate to the person on the level that you know that he or she will appreciate. Okay, so that you don't do anything to influence. Because if the person is nobody who I don't believe that if somebody is happy in a happy mood, you will get angry at you. No, so it depends on how you communicate to such people that will create their anger for them to get there. But even that is something that can be worked on. Okay, so like I said, we'll have time to treat personality, and when we treat that, we'll be able to see how best we can handle some of these issues that comes out of our personality temperament. Sure, cheating will affect your relationship with your beloved. Even though the person may forgive you, it will still, but it depends on who you are dealing with. There are people who can easily let go of things. Okay, so for such a person, when the person genuinely forgives you, that's it. You may even forget about it, and but there are some people who find it difficult to forgive. Even though they are Christians, they find it difficult to forgive. For such people, the slightest thing, he or she will raise that issue, and that one becomes a problem, and it brings about a lot of problems and conflict in the mind. So, if it's possible, you just have to avoid cheating altogether. If it's possible, you have to, as a child of God, you have to avoid cheating. Okay, and that is why we are learning some of this, because if you are communicating well with your spouse and you are doing all things right, you wouldn't even have the flair to go out and cheat, because you are having all the good time with your spouse, and so what will take you out to go and cheat? So cheating should be out, I beg you, in the name of God. Because if you are lucky to have a wife or a husband who is understanding and forgiving, that's fine. But if not, there will always be a problem. Thank you. Hello, my dear. The ingredients are many, but all the ingredients, they are master, or the ingredient that will hold all the other ingredients in place is communication. So if you are able to master your communication skills, from what we did on Saturday to today, and then do other readings as well, the other ingredients will fall in place. Because if you want to take your wife out, it's about communication. Because you as you are even just inviting her out is communication. When you take her out to eat, is communication. Anything you want to do is communication. So if you really want to know the ingredients that will because love, all the other ingredients are based on communication, because you will channel all of them through communication. The love, the trust, the transparency, and all that. So that's why you need to take communication very, very serious in your marriage. If you take that one serious, you are good to go. I guess I've answered the question. Thank you. Yes, men. The Bible actually gave us only 2 rules: that the men should love their wives, and then the wives should also be submissive and respectful to their husbands. So, and remember, the Bible says that the man is the head of the family, as Christ represents the head of the church. Meaning that the man in that home, or your husband, is representing Christ in the home. So anytime you are dealing with your husband, see him as Christ's representative. Just like an ambassador of Ghana to UK, he goes to represent Ghana, and so the people there treat him like the president of Ghana. You give him all the respect, respect and submissiveness. So anything that you cannot tell Christ, or you cannot do to Christ, you don't do it to your husband. If you bear in mind, or you have it in your mind that your husband is representing Christ in the home, then there are lots of things you will not do that will inflate your husband for him to get angry at you and bring problems. So whatever the food you are serving him, look at it as if you are serving Christ. How will you serve Christ if he should visit you? How will you talk to Christ if you have to, even when you are angry and you are talking to Christ, how will you talk to him? So the moment you start seeing your husband in that light, you'll be able to respect him and treat him with respect and submissiveness. That doesn't mean that, because mind you, God created man in his own image, and the Bible said that he created both male and female. So man and woman, nobody is superior, nobody is inferior. We are all equal in the sight of God. But then in every class or in every home, there should be somebody who will stand in as a head to represent the whole family. So God has given that right to man to stand in. And so you as a wife, you have to submit. So that doesn't mean that you are inferior for you to, so you are to be submissive. That doesn't mean that you are a doormat or anything, but you are just a helper to help your husband achieve his visions and dreams. And so likewise the man, you are supposed to love your wife just as Christ loved the church and gave his life. And the Bible says, when you read that Ephesians, it talks about the fact that Christ is representing the church spotless and blameless to God. So you, the man who is in that house, you are supposed to take care of your wife. If your wife is go to hell, it will be God will hold you responsible because you are there to represent your family, your wife and your children to God without any blame, just as Christ is doing for the church. And so see yourself not as a boss but as a servant of the home, because Christ's leadership style was servanthood. So you are supposed to serve your family, your wife and your so by serving your family and sacrificing for them, because Christ sacrificed his life for the church. By doing all those things, then you are showing love to your family or your wife. And then the woman is also showing respect and submissiveness to the husband. Thank you. If he loves the wife, and the wife has also showed remorse and genuinely repented, definitely then once he has forgiven her, that should settle it, and then they move on with their life. But you see, from his question, he was saying that the wife seems not to care anymore because he caught her cheating. It's possible the wife has, I asked this question because it's possible the wife has genuinely repented of whatever happened, and then but he still remind her of that wrong, because when you forgive somebody and you something happens or you keep constantly reminding the person of the wrong, then it means you have not forgiven the person, and so it becomes difficult for the person to get closer to you. That is why I asked that question. So if he has genuinely forgiven the wife, I don't see why the wife will behave the way she's behaving. That's why I asked that question. Thank you. I rather God bless you if you have genuinely forgiven him, but then I don't know why she's behaving that way, but maybe since it's something of concern to you, and we will not be able to solve that problem right here on this platform, because I don't even believe she is on this platform, so that even whatever advice or whatever counsel we give, she will benefit from it. So maybe you can get a counseling psychologist, or maybe your counselor at the church, or whoever counselor, or any counselor you think you want to help you can get the person. So the two of you will see the person, and he will sit you down, then we'll be able to find out why she's behaving the way she is, so that the best counsel will be given to both of you, so that that problem will be a thing of the past, so you can enjoy your marriage. Thank you. Like we said from the beginning, communication is both verbal and non-verbal. So you apply whichever of them that will make you resolve an issue at a particular time. And like I said, most of the time the two work hand in hand. So you may be using verbal communication, but the gestures still will be there. Okay. So it all boils to how you communicate the issue to the person. How you go about it would inform the kind of defense mechanism the person will put up. Okay, so you have to be mindful of how you communicate to be able to attract the person's attention, so that the person will realize whatever is at stake, to be able to conform to whatever he or she has to conform to. Thank you. Definitely, I'm sure, I don't know, but then once you're here, I think you can answer for yourself. But I'm sure for you to forgive somebody, I'm sure the person they would have sat on it and talked about it, and then maybe the woman will even ask for forgiveness and tell him or her why it happened and all that before he can go ahead to forgive. So I'm sure those things, but then maybe they did. What I'm thinking is that maybe they didn't really look out for the root cause of the whole thing. So that is what you had. That's why I said, since she's not here, and I don't know, I'm not too sure, I don't know if she's on the platform, but then it would be more appropriate to listen to both sides and then find out the root cause, what really even triggered the whole thing, what brought it about, so that if that is worked out, and then they will all be able to move on with their life without even visiting the past. Thank you. What I will say, thank you for making it clearer. But then what I will say about this is that if the person, you are not married yet to the person, then you have to advise yourself. I always say that something that you can't do to the end, you don't even start. For you to start and go and get stuck somewhere. So if the person is indifferent, you are doing all you can, but the person things seem not to work. Once you are not married, you just let the person go and then look elsewhere. Because one thing I always say, that if there's something about somebody you want to marry and you cannot stand, you've done all you can, but the person is indifferent, like you said, and you can't stand, then let the person go. Because if you force yourself and go ahead and try to say that, oh, when I'm married he will change, he or she will never change. And so you are going to carry that cross so Jesus comes. And if you don't take care, you never find happiness in that marriage, because always it will be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when you realize that things are not working, and once you are not said I do, you just let it go. And then the Lord opens another door for you. Because that person might meet somebody who is also just like him or her, and then the two of them will click and they can go. Because due to our individual differences and our personality traits, there are some people you cannot stand no matter what. So if you can't stand, don't go ahead. Because if you go ahead, you get pressure. You may even die and leave the person to enjoy life. That's the little counsel I can talk about that. Because if you are not married yet to the person, then don't worry yourself. You can just call it off and then look elsewhere. That's just a saying to deceive ourselves. Life is never blind. Love is never blind. Because there's nothing like falling in love. Okay, there's nothing like that. We only deceive ourselves. It's never blind. You have to be wise. The Bible says that we should be wise like serpents. Okay, like the serpent. So in life, we have to be wise and we have to be smart and sharp in everything that we do. Don't fall blind to love. Otherwise, you wake up at the wrong side of your bed. Thank you. My dear, the Bible says that can two walk together except they agree? So if the person does not understand you but you love the person, how can you marry such a person? Can two walk together except they agree? So we need to understand each other and agree to move on with our marriage. Otherwise, we'll be in that marriage, but we'll be there like, I don't know if you have watched this movie before, Sleeping with My Enemy. You'll be in the marriage, but you are more than enemies. Thank you. I don't know, maybe you didn't listen to the audio, but then I answered that communication affects the quality of your marriage in every aspect. So effective communication in marriage depicts a successful and a healthy marriage. So when you take communication out of that marriage, then you are in for nothing. The marriage cannot stand on its legs. So it is very, very important. your marriage is measured, or the quality of your marriage is measured based on the kind of communication that exists between you and your spouse. Thank you. You and your spouse are one flesh, so you can communicate on anything. The only thing that personally, that one, I've not done any research on that, but it's my personal, that I don't believe in is sending your family issues into, because your family issues, your spouse has his own family issues. You also have because you are coming from 4 families. Remember, your mother's side, your father's side, and your immediate family from which you just came out. You are building your own. You see, I am not too comfortable where that's what we feel some, because some of them don't have any bearing on your marriage, so you don't need to do, because sometimes it is December edition. So apart from that, I don't think there's any barrier in communication, except things that you have told people that is confidential. For instance, if you are a counselor psychologist like me, your work borders on confidentiality, so you assure people that whatever they discuss with you, when they come to see you with their problems, you are a counselor psychologist like me, or a minister, or anybody whose work borders on confidentiality. You cannot go and discuss issues that your clients have come to discuss with you with your spouse. It is wrong. It's unethical. It's non-professional. Okay? So apart from for instance, if you are a lawyer or whatever, it depends on the kind of work you do. If there are confidential issues, you are a doctor, you are treating people and you have their confidential reports and cases, and you don't go and discuss those things. So these are the areas I would say you shouldn't go. Apart from that, you can discuss anything. Marital communication does not have any limit, except when it borders on confidentiality and maybe your family back among some people. I don't think it's necessary to, unless that issue, if it has a bearing on your marriage, then maybe you can discuss with your husband or wife so you can pray or do something about it. But other than that, it shouldn't be part of your conversations. Thank you. Interesting. Technology is bringing all kinds of things, But you are married couple, and the Bible has given you license to. You have the license. Once you are married, you have the license to enjoy your sexual relationship. So, your communication doesn't usually have any. I don't know what to say. Anything you say or any communication that you do that will make you people feel happy and good, I don't really have a problem with that. But my only problem is where you are not married to the person and you are engaging in all kinds of things with that person. Then it becomes wrong. But once you are married to it, it's your wife or it's your husband. And whatever line of communication that you take to make you people happy. The only thing normally I'm not too comfortable with is pornography and those things, because those things have their own negative effects, okay? And most of the things that those people do, most of them are on drugs. So if you follow them and go and do some of those things, you will kill yourself. By the time you finish, you are broken your waist or some part of you. Because most of them are highly on drugs, and the things they do, they don't even fit. So those ones, I'm not too comfortable. Because pornography I have a whole presentation on that, adolescence and pornography, and it's not anything good. I will encourage you people to go through. But then apart from that, anything you do or you talk about that will make you happy in your marriage, why not? Okay.
Concerning the rules, I want to add my voice a little. In addition to our able marriage counselor, psychosocial and marital counselor, Aunty Irene, we have something called the biblical role of the man and woman in the family, not even the man in the family. And the primary one is mutual submission. Number 2, equality in companionship and intimacy. As you can find in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 2 to 5. In Ephesians 5:25, I said, these are for all. But to be specific, the husband to the wife. 1 is an helper. 2, a partner who submits. 3, person who meets a husband's needs. 4, even though she submits, she's also a lover. So number 4 is lover. 5, caregiving and nurturing mother. 6, hardworking and thoughtful and dependent partner. You can see this in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10 to 31. And for the husband, 1 is a lover. 2, a leader. 3, provider and protector. 4, companion. 5, fatherhood. 6, encourager. So if you want to show your love or your submission, this biblical foundation can help. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I get you. If it's about you, definitely you have to let your spouse know that this is what's it. And even when the person calls you, you can put the phone on a loudspeaker for your wife to hear or your husband to hear whatever is happening. And if the person invites you, go with your wife or your spouse, and it will silence the person. You just stop. You just go with your wife or your husband. Or anytime the person comes to visit you, make sure your wife is with you or your husband is with you. And then you use that opportunity to educate the person, the two of you. And that will stop the person into silence. He will never even dream of doing that to you again. Okay. I'll say that yes and no. If your past has a bearing or will have a bearing on your marriage, then you have to let the person. For instance, if you have a child, maybe when you were in school, you had a child with somebody or something, and you know you have a child, you have to let the woman, because this time you cannot keep it forever. It will one day come out. But there are certain aspects of our past which doesn't have any bearing on our marriage. So that one, once you are married, you don't need to communicate all those things, because remember, we all have we all have our own shock absorber, how we can receive shocks and things. There are certain parts that if you think that it will not have any bearing on your marriage, but if you tell your partner, the partner cannot cope with it. You know your partner cannot cope with it, it will destroy him or her forever. You don't have to worry, because it is past. When the person came to marry, they saw you, that thing has happened long time in your life, and it doesn't have. But the things that will have a bearing on your marriage, you have to talk to the person. Because those ones, you can't do anything. But one day to come out, and when they come out, what will you see? And then those that are not any serious thing, when you were in the secondary school, when there were some things happening, it's not anything serious, you don't bother yourself with it, because after all, even when it comes out, it's nothing. I mean, we all have our past. Okay, so those that you know that it will have an effect on your marriage, you have to share. But those that are, but if you want, those that don't have any bearing, and you don't really have to bother yourself about that. Sure, you have to let your spouse know, because maybe for all you know, you are not interested in that person. You have already told the person you are married and you are serious with your marriage, but the person keeps on advancing on you. And if you don't tell your spouse, and maybe perchance he sees some of these messages on your phone, there's no excuse you give for him to understand and trust you. You may lose even the trust that he has for you. So the moment the person starts and you tell the person, excuse me, I'm married, so I'm not interested, and the person continues, such a person does not have good intentions for you. So straight, you have to tell your spouse that this is what, and you can even show some of the messages and the replies you're giving to the person, to your husband. And so if he tries to call you again and you are there with your husband, you can put the phone on loudspeaker, and when he speaks, you tell him that, okay, you see, I told you I'm not interested, and you insist, so now my husband wants to talk to you. And that person will never even, but when he does it and you don't do anything, he may think, because some men have the idea that women, when you tell them something and they say they don't like that, I don't know where they got that thing from, but they have been saying that when a woman tells you I don't like or I don't want, it means she wants or whatever. So they will not take no for an answer. So please, it's very, very important. If you really want to win the trust of your spouse, you tell him or her what is happening. Thank you. If you are courting and you are so sure and you are certain about the person, then that's fine. You can go ahead and do the same. But most of you are confusing dating with courting. And so if you are just dating the person, then don't jump quickly to say no, because for all you know, the person you are dating is not even interested in you. That's why the other time I took my time to discuss dating and courtship for you to know and understand it well. So if it's just dating, I've told you, in dating you can date more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. It is only in courting that you date only one person. So if it's in courtship and you are certain that now the person you are courting, you are sure you are going to settle with the person, then that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But if you are just dating, you are at a shopping stage and you are dating, then you don't have to do that. You are shopping, so you try all of them, and the one that you think you are okay to settle with, then you settle with that person. So you cannot date more than one person. You cannot court more than one person, but you can date several people. Thank you. Anyway, it's normal, due to different personalities. Some people can easily move, and some people it takes time. So don't worry, we can work something out. Okay, so let's talk after the program, and then I'll give you tips on how to move. Okay, thank you. Effective communication, simply put, is when you speak or do, is when what you speak or do is understood by your spouse in the way you intended him or her to understand it. So as you try to communicate, whether verbal or non-verbal, the receiver of your message, which is your spouse, should be able to receive the message and decode it as the way you intended for him to understand it, so that he wouldn't get a different understanding of what you are trying to send across. So, and for effective communication to take place, you need to apply most of the things that we have learned, especially good listening skills, because if you don't listen well, you are not able to communicate effectively. You either give a wrong response, or you make a wrong conclusion or a hasty conclusion, and which will affect communication. So effective communication simply means ensuring that whatever you are communicating, the message or whether the action you are sending across, is understood by the receiver in the intent for the intended purpose, or the way you intended him or her to understand. So that if I send you a message that I want to see you tomorrow morning by 5 o'clock, you should get the same meaning as I'm sending, so that you don't hear it that I said I want to see you tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock. So for effective communication, the message should be received just as it was intended for it to be received. Thank you. Hello. Those of us who are married and those who are not married on the platform, I remember last Saturday I said that we should try and spend a little money on our marriage. It's very, very important. Okay, if you really had a good premarital counseling, and it's helping you fine. Some people went through some of you think the counseling is because the church is a mandatory something. Even when you come to the counseling, you don't pay attention. You just come and sit there because you think it's a formality. But you go into the marriage and you realize that, I should have paid attention. But at that time, all you think about is the marriage, the event, not the marriage. But then I'm saying that spend a little money on your marriage if you really want your marriage to work. Marriage is not cheap. Okay, so when you hear of marriage seminars and things, if you have the time, please pay and go and listen, especially those coming from good marriage counselors. when you hear the seminars, the talks, the workshop, please spend time and go and then buy books, good literature on marriage, Christian marriage and that, and read. You learn a lot. You learn a lot. So sometimes those of you who are preparing to marry, sometimes your budget on wedding, cut some of it and cut some and put it down for seminars and things. Okay, spend money on your marriage because it's a school on its own. You have a lot to learn to be able to appreciate that institution. That's why it's a school that when you start, they give you the certificate before you even embark on the journey. All I know is for every course you do, you go and read the course, you write the exams. When you pass, they give you a certificate. But for marriage, you take the certificate before, on the day you enroll into that school. So it means that you are going to learn throughout your life. It's a learning process till Jesus come out, till death do you part. So please, don't take marriage for a joke. Take it serious. Take it as the courses that you are reading. The MBA courses and executive MBA and all those things that you are reading. You are spending so much buying books. Buy books and read. Attend marriage seminars. And then, even if your church, where you are, they are not organizing premarital counseling or whatever, but look for one. Pay for it and go. It will save you so many problems. Pay, go and study before you enter, before you say I do. So that it will help you. So that at the end of the day, the money, what you'll be spending, your time and effort, the things you'll be putting into let your marriage work, you would have saved all those resources. Okay? So spend time to learn and spend money too as well on your marriage. And you will enjoy it. Because it's a whole school. And in all the schools we go, we buy textbooks, don't we? We go for lectures, don't we? So please, thank you.
Father, we thank you for a moment like this and for sharing us. Since marriage is one of the key areas that affects every person's life, we thank you and we are gracious unto you for imparting on our counselors and also imparting in our life. We pray that you let the spirit of marriage and good relationship for or endow every member that is listening or participates in this forum. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord may face shine upon you and be gracious upon you and give you His perpetual peace and prepare you for a successful marriage. Shalom.